Welcome to Thinking Outside the Dog Box. I'm your host, Lizelle the Dog Trainer, and I'm looking forward to sharing this episode with you because life is just better with an obedient dog. Hi guys, I've got Candi with me today, and I thought it would be really cool if she could tell you guys a little bit about her awesome dog Jupiter.
Cool, so I got Jupiter about a year ago. She is the first dog that I've ever had. I have been around dogs and I thought I'd been around them enough to know, like, oh, I know what I'm doing. Like, dogs are simple. And then the first night I got her, I sat in my room bawling my eyes out because I thought, what the heck am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. And I just felt really overwhelmed because, you know, first night with your puppy, she was crying, she was a little bit upset, didn't really know what was going on, and I just couldn't deal with that. I just felt so much anxiety. So it was definitely, from the beginning, it was definitely like a wake-up call for me. It wasn't just, you're not just having a dog, you don't just feed it and walk it and that's it. It's a lot more than that.
It was a bit of, like, it was a bit of a reality check.
Yeah, it was definitely a reality check. Because I feel like you just see people with dogs or you see things online and it's just so easy and no one really shows the bad sides. You know, people post.
It's not like that it's bad, it's just the struggle.
The struggles, yeah. People, oh, look at my new puppy, she's so pretty, she's so this, and everything's so great, but you don't realise that they just chewed up their new shoes and pissed in the corner and barked at a cat and all that sort of stuff. I swear when
I was raising my last litter, I was like, will you guys stop peeing everywhere?
Pretty much. It's just, yeah. Even funny story, when she was a puppy, she pooed on the wooden floor and there happened to be a crack in the floor and it went all through that crack and now there's just like, it's stuck there. And I had to clean it and it took me a long time. And I just was sitting there thinking, why am I doing this? What is the point? Like, I'm just so over this. But yeah, it's definitely been a journey.
How old is she? She's only one.
She's one.
It's only been a short journey.
It's a very short journey, but it feels like such a long time. It feels like a lot has happened. Yeah, I've just, so much. But
so, like you were saying before, like something about like when your friends would invite you out about going to the park and stuff. Yeah. And what was going on with Jupiter at that time?
So Jupiter is a very she's a very sensitive girl. She's very nervous. If she gets introduced to something the wrong way or if something sort of spooks her, she'll just be sort of scared of it for a long time until you can show her like, hey, it's okay, it's fine, this thing in the corner, it's not going to hurt you. So it was hard because, you know, people, oh, you've got a dog, let's go hang out, let's go do this, and it was hard because she was sort of reactive and she wasn't comfortable just hanging out with random dogs. So I'd always feel sort of bad because I'd be like, oh yeah, like let's hang out, but not really wanting to. And people don't understand, like sometimes I'm trying to teach her certain things like door manners. So I want her to get out the car nicely and walk beside me. And they just get their dog out and they're standing in the park and they're sort of like, oh, come on. But it's hard because it's like, oh, I'm just trying to do these things.
And you've just undone and you're just watching them with their dog and thinking, you've just taught your dog all the wrong things. But okay. Yeah. But so that added to your stress and anxiety.
Yeah, because I just had that feeling that no one else was dealing with this issue and everything was just perfect. And I'd talk to people and they'd say, oh yeah, my dog's so good, they do this and this. But it's funny because when you talk to them more and you delve a little bit more into like their dog and their history and stuff, they have a lot of problems as well, but they just don't tell you and they just don't show you. And
it's kind of like you're getting the highlight reel.
Yeah, and so I did feel definitely like I was the only one going through this, or I was the only one struggling. Like, you just see people with their dogs and it's just such a fun time, so happy and everything's great, and I'm here, you know, having all these issues and I'm just thinking like, what am I doing wrong? And yeah, so and
then you went to try and look for some help. Now tell me about that journey.
So
how old was she?
She was probably about 10 months, 8 to 10 months, can't really remember.
And what was the incident that made you seek some help?
Well, when it started to get really bad, so I was flatting with my brother and he had 2 dogs, and his dogs and my dog, because they grew up together, they got along fine, everything was fine. But there was a couple incidents that he sort of did the wrong thing, and a few things just went wrong. Like, so for example, he was holding my dog in front of his dog until his dog was growling and getting really upset. And then he let my dog go and they went at it. And ever since that situation, things in the house with our dogs had just been really weird. You could just tell, like, you would look at them and they would be giving each other side eye and they wouldn't be happy. And my dog, in the end, she was too scared to go into certain rooms or go and do certain things because that other dog was there and she was scared. So she would just stay in her crate, and she got harassed a little bit because she was always really scared of things. And it used to be like funny, like, oh, look at this, she's scared of this plastic container, let's like throw it next to her and all of that.
So he just basically made her stress out even more.
Yeah, and she would piss a lot as well because she was just so scared. So
submissive urination, fear.
So even to this day, as soon as she sees him, she just pees, and she's still excited to see him because she really likes him, but it was just really hard. So that's when I first started researching, even online, just like why are my two dogs not liking each other? Like, what can I do? Can this be solved? Like, my main thing, because I feel like I'd always been heard that you can't fix reactivity, you can't fix aggression, it's just sort of how the dog is, and that's forever. And I was worried, so I was trying to do a lot of research to more so ease my mind and think, it's okay, we can sort this. But yeah, definitely things got really bad. I wasn't hey Raven, I wasn't looking at trainers at that point, but I took myself out of that situation. So I moved out and I was living by myself in a place with just me and my dog, and it was really hard because I was working long shifts and I just didn't really have much time to give her that attention. But I always promised myself, as soon as I'm in a situation where I'm comfortable and she has that space, because we didn't even really have a backyard, it was just really hard. So as soon as we were comfortable, I had that space and I was ready, I was going to look for a trainer. And I am at that point now. I have been at that point probably since the end of last year. So I went online and I straight away sort of realised there wasn't many to choose from, and
Plymouth is pretty small.
Yeah, pretty small, so I was a bit bummed, and a lot of them didn't really have much info as to what they were going to do or what they did, and definitely not many people with like reviews or anything to say like if they were worth it or if they were good, because dog training is something that takes a lot of time. It's a lot of effort from you, and it's not something that you can just try it and be like, oh no, it didn't work. It's something you've got to sort of implement in your daily life and do it over time to see any results. And I wasn't going to put in all of this hard work and effort doing certain things if I wasn't really sure that it was going to work. So I did actually end up getting one trainer in to help me with my dog, and I mentioned the reactivity and it was nothing that they worked on. They just taught me things that she already knows. So we went through like teaching them to come when they're called, or teaching them to look at you and stuff like that, which she already sort of did and she knew most of it. So it didn't really feel worthwhile. And then when at the end of the lessons that we had, I mentioned like, hey, I sort of still want to work on her reactivity because that's my biggest concern. And they ended up telling me, even though they hadn't seen her reactivity at all, they didn't know anything about it, they ended up just saying that she didn't need it. So it was kind of hard for me being told that I didn't need it when I knew that I did.
It's kind of like questioning your sanity almost.
Yeah, like it really made me, it was just so hard for me because I'd finally reached out, I got a trainer, and I was just left sitting sort of like, I didn't really get what I wanted, I don't really know what I'm doing, nothing's changed, and I was sort of apprehensive to try again because trainers can be expensive, especially like if you're not that well off, it's hard to get, quality training. And I was stuck. I just felt like I've tried and I just don't know what I'm doing now. And
especially because you kind of go, oh, flip, I spent all that money on this one trainer and they didn't help me. So how many trainers do I have to kind of go through? I kind of know, because this is one of the reasons I ended up being a trainer, is because I was like, I didn't want to go through that. I was apprehensive, and I'm a little bit of a suspicious person in the first place. Yeah, just because you say so doesn't make it true.
Yeah, because you trust these people to come and to help you, and when that doesn't really get followed through, you're sort of questioning everything. And so I had to wait a little bit longer, save up some more money, and do some like really deep research into like who am I going to get to help me that can prove that they can help me, because I wanted to see reviews, I wanted to see appraisals from people that said like, yes, this is worth it, yes, this worked, you know, because from the other trainer I had, nothing really did anything, and I was really set on I need to see the proof first before I put my trust in someone again. Yeah, and then that's when I contacted Lizelle.
So what did you find that
put me on to?
Yeah.
Well, if anything, it was just all of the reviews and all of the good comments and all of the people that were sort of backing you up and saying like, yes, this is worth it, yes, this is good, and all of the success from it. And I just thought, well, you know, that's sort of enough for me to put my trust in someone. If everyone else is saying, yeah, go for it, it's good, yeah.
Cool. And how do you feel about Jupiter now? Like, how do you feel about your abilities and your, like, since working with me, what's your progress been?
It's definitely been really good. The training has been really good. The change in our relationship has been so dramatic and so noticeable that it's almost just like she's just speeding through. It's just really good. And I've even decided that I want to be a dog trainer as well, and I'm starting to go down that track and starting to learn a lot more. So not even just focusing on the problems that my dog has, but like just learning about everything and just wanting to help people, because as someone who's been in such a hard situation, like I know what it's like, and I just want to help people because it's
and
hard.
I've been in the same journey as you, so it's kind of like I don't want people to struggle like I did. It's so hard. But now, so how's Jupiter's reactivity?
Her reactivity has definitely dropped so much. I've learned a lot that has worked in helping her.
Because I remember when she came to class, the first few sessions, she was growling at Raven. She was not having a bar of sitting near Raven. Yeah. And it's just been all about building that trust, keeping her safe, building that, building her confidence again, because she's had that squashed. Yeah. So, and now she's really a happy girl. Like, honestly, she's sensitive, so it's never going to be 100% cured if people keep violating her space and stuff. You're gonna have that reactivity creep back in. And this is the thing that keep in mind: if you have a reactive dog, you can't just cure it because you think you'd like it. Oh, I've dealt with it. Like if you've got a sensitive dog, it's a maintenance thing. You have to keep it up. So you have started becoming a dog walker.
Yes, so I'm a dog walker now, which for me is more so just like getting that experience working with dogs and just learning about all the different things they go through and just handling them, all the different stuff that they deal with. So it's really good. Because Jupiter, she's quite easy to walk. She's pretty chillax. Like I can tell her to do.
She is super. She just wants to please you, and that makes her a really nice dog. She's just also overanalyzes everything. Yeah, and she probably, because of the experiences she had, that's probably made her a little bit more sensitive than she probably would have been normally. Yeah,
so it's good to work with other dogs that do different stuff and having to like problem solve and be like, right, how do I get them to stop this, or how do I get them to do this?
Because the other night in class, I've got a super confident, cocky lab in class called Chester, and I just decided, Candi, here, you handle Chester.
Yes,
that was a bit of a trial by fire.
Yeah, that was an experience, but I really enjoyed it because I don't get that. I don't get to try all these different things because, my dog is just, she's one way. And so it was good to work with the other dogs and see what other people deal with. Yep. And it definitely makes me appreciate certain aspects of my dog. Like, you don't realise it, but until you see someone else's dog doing something, you just think, wow, like, I'm just glad that that's not something that I struggle with.
I know,
not in a bad way.
It's kind of like, now as a trainer, I'm like, I've had a few dogs and I'm like, you know what, that's not a problem I want to deal with anymore. Not in my own dog. I fix it too much in other people's dogs.
Yeah. Because I think if anything, I look at my dog and I go, oh, like, I don't like that she does this, or, oh, why is she reactive, or this or that. But now working with other people's dogs, I'm like, you know what, I'm just really thankful that she doesn't bark at everything. I'm just really thankful that she doesn't research guys.
She's not like insane on the end of the leash.
Yeah, so,
like, look at this. Like, I get to rock Raven and just be really, like, this is like, yeah. It's like, kind of like, yeah, it's nice to have a dog that makes your life easier, not harder. And I think you've got that with Jupiter now, that you guys are on the same page. Yeah. Oh, and just to let you guys know, there is absolutely every possibility that Raven would have been a reactive dog as well. It is totally training. And one of the things I believe, and this is not going to be a popular opinion, but it is something that I have started to believe in after raising a couple of litters and a number of puppies. Puppy raising is for experienced people, man. It's hard work. So yeah, and Candi will be raising a puppy soon, so that's exciting. We will be updating you on her journey with her puppy as well. Anyway, happy training, guys. Thanks, Candi, for coming in, and we will pop the link into Candi's dog walking business, Pro Packs, that you guys can check out if you want to see some pics of cute doggies and see Jupiter. And join if you guys are looking for a dog walker, because dog walking is absolutely such a blessing, especially in winter when you are limited on time and can't walk your dog.
Yeah.
Cool.
Definitely. I'll be the one to go in the rain.
yeah. Let Candi do the rainy work for you. Happy training, guys. Catch you later. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Thinking Outside the Dog Box. I'd love a 5-star review if you think this was an awesome podcast episode. But regardless, come to www.lazeldadogtrainer.com and check out Thinking Outside the Dog Box Geek Level.